Nick and I met and formed our friendship back in the early days of the Fringe Festival, Philadelphia Fringe Festival. And I just remember getting interested in that entity first because it was just so different, exciting. You never knew what you were going to see. It was just the whole format of this 2-week festival of theater in Philadelphia in a garage or in a car or in a theater or wherever. It was absolutely thrilling. And I served on the board for a while. I was the president of the board for a while. And the more I got involved and learned how this thing gets put together, that's just my admiration or my respect for Nick just was like, it just grew and grew and grew and grew.
Len supports a lot of important sort of legacy institutions, more mature institutions like BalletX and like Fringe Festival. But he really, I would say his passion is almost more focused on that early, on that band of artists that is kind of in startup mode. There's a lot of talent here, but without those early resources, they just would just sort of fizzle away. And he's been supporting them, and I could name them. There's a good, solid cohort of them, and he knows them, and he goes to see their work, and he understands their work, and he's been relentlessly supporting it. And that sort of, that band of artists, which really is sort of the foundation for it all, without his support, this wouldn't be what it is now. This really wouldn't. And so I really commend him for that vision.
Every single moment I've seen Nick over the last 30 years, he's had the same smile. He just smiles, you know, and he just brings light and energy into any room. And he makes everything seem like it's possible. You know, he really has just like dreamed something and made it happen. And I'm just blown away by that. You know, and he's just they're both just amazing guys. When I approached Leonard many, many years ago for support of this new crazy ballet we were gonna do, that I had no idea if it was gonna be good or bad, he got behind it and helped make, I think, one of the best ballets we've ever done possible. And it takes people like Nick and Leonard to believe in artists, to believe and support new work, because you never know what you're going to get in the creation process.
Len Haas has a love, not just for the arts, but for all of us who participate in it, that is transformational. The arts community is as gentle and cooperative and loving and creative as it is in Philadelphia, in no small part because of his influence. I kind of feel the same way about Nick. Nick has that same spirit about him. You know, he's very positive, but he cares. He cares about the people around. He treats the people around him with love and respect. I think that's an integral part of what this art scene is all about.
I met Nick on the top floor of Pennsylvania Ballet Studios. I remember him coming out of the studio and coming right up to me and saying, "Oh, hi, you're Annie, I'm Nick." And it was just so, he was so natural and friendly and genuine and authentic that I thought something was terribly wrong with him. I thought he was so strange. I'm like, oh. Because everyone was kind of like, hi. But he just came right up to me, so confident and so warm and like, oh, I've heard so much about you. Hi, how are you? And I remember I kind of was disarmed a little bit. And I was like, friendly. He's really friendly.
He said to me, in passing, you know, I have a son, he's going to be turning 18 in a couple months. And I was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. He actually took out his driver's license and showed me his age. It was 46. The trick he tells me later is he thought it was 25, but it was 36. So we both thought each other were 10 years younger than we were. We laughed, and it was you know, it was Valentine's Day. That's when we met.
When we were in high school together, Nick didn't have even a little bit of interest in arts, and amazingly, I was voted most artistic in my high school class. I know that's hard to believe these days, but So I cast Nick in a play, which is the first time I think he'd ever been inside a theater.
I had the script, I read the script, I did the thing. He was like, you got the part, because you're the only guy here.
He was a natural at it, and he sort of discovered this whole world, and then he went off to Skidmore and got into dance, and the whole trajectory of his life, went in that direction. So I, modestly take credit for the fact that I introduced him to this, and I discovered this artistic genius, which is why, in a way, I think, truthfully, I really founded the Philadelphia Fringe Festival, and this is kind of my night, too.
Even from the start, Len was always a guy who would always think about his father and his grandfather, and I got to meet his parents. And the generosity is like in their DNA. I really believe it, and it's in his DNA. This idea that it's a compulsion to help and to figure out how, and for Len, to figure out how to use this resource that he was given, that he was blessed with being a part of. How do I do that for the widest and best good?
Looking at where the city was and where it is now, it feels really good. It feels really pretty amazing. I mean, obviously Philly has a lot of other issues we got to deal with, but for this sector, man, it's just, and I look at that and I think, yeah, I had a hand in that. My family has had a big hand. We've all, and that's, I feel really proud of.
He took that mantle, and he especially took it after the passing of his father. The brothers took the mantle and were like, yes, we are continuing this. He's just this sweet, normal, unassuming, generous listener, just a good guy.
I think that he just has such a passion for the people around him and what they do and their passions, and he just wants to see people thrive, and he doesn't think about how it will benefit him or make him look. Growing up with his impact in the area and just seeing how he went about it and doing it in such a graceful way and such a humble way, as I said, I think is, yeah, who wouldn't want to honor someone like that?
What I was always attracted to Nick about was that he's very curious about so many different things. He's just really interested. He's an interesting person because he's interested in so many things. He's very pragmatic, but he's also a risk taker. So it's a nice combo, and that also hasn't altered at all. And I really admire that. Of course, he is also very humble, so he would say, oh, it's naivete, but it's not. It's a drive, it's a belief in himself, and also he just has such a passion for the arts, and that, of course, that's what we both love.
I'm thrilled to be sharing this honor with him as a friend and as a co-artist and mover and shaker, but I'm honored to be sharing the bill with him, and that it's BalletX, because I'm a huge fan of BalletX.
Me in a room as part of a team that's made that event possible, where there's some amazingly talented artist that's in front of us, offering us some really beautiful, interesting, aesthetic experience, or some interesting, beautiful reflection on the world and society, the place we live, and audiences are there, and there's a tangible connection. That is my drug. That is what I live for. That is what gets me up in the morning to try and be around those experiences still. And that was Shut Up and Dance. What was it, 94? So basically, I'm hooked on that. That's what keeps me going.
Nick and Leonard, I can't thank you enough for letting BalletX honor you and your great work that you do in our amazing city. Thank you so much for tonight and all that you do to make Philadelphia and all of our lives in Philadelphia better.